She brought me flowers, she brought me coffee and a donut. So Boot came, which is great, but we are now going to go on and see Jeanette again. Here is Jeanette. We're coming up. I see your balloons kind of died.
Yes, they do.
But there's Jeanette, and
the weather is just not helping.
No, but that you can see that coming actually. That looks really great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It will need work, so I'll take it home and work some more on it when I'm in the studio. But I have enough time to at least know what it is I'm looking at. So.
And as you say, you've got your colors.
Yes.
So, which is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
So, which is, of all the folks that I went to visit, I actually love your setup.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, it's amazing. It's for any season, any setup. Yes. It's light. Basically fits into a backpack, which is great.
Yeah. This one sets up in a very short period of time. I love my easel. It's a Soltec.
But it helps to get you out, right?
Yes.
So, which is amazing.
But it's not a cheap one, unfortunately. It's rather expensive, but it's worth every penny, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Which makes it so much nicer when you can set up quickly, and you don't have to worry about how many screws am I going to lose this time, which I always had with the French easel.
Yeah. But it gets you, how should I say, getting out and painting sometimes is about learning how to get rid of the barriers.
Yes.
And limiting decisions and limiting things. So it's one less decision, one less barrier actually.
Yes, very true.
When you've got something that you enjoy working with.
Yes, and when your setup is good, then you're not fighting your materials and your setup, right?
Yeah.
Because that's always the part that is hard. When you're struggling with your easel and you're struggling with your paints, then nothing seems to work.
Yeah.
So this having that as a good setup is a lifesaver, and makes you enjoy it way more when you're out there, because it's less painful too.
Then it's more about the actual painting. The materials. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful, Jeanette. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Look how dressed up you are today.
Well, I know.
I love your sweater, by the way. Sorry, I've been meaning to. I love your sweater.
Thank you so much.
I love bright color. Like, I'm obsessed with bright colors.
Look at
That's
this,
the most
you're
amazing
totally-
thing. You don't. My sister-in-law is the artist and she loves color. And she's wearing black.
So we're gonna sneak around though while these guys are talking.
Good job. Thank you. That looks fantastic, both of you.
Kevin, so are you happy with how it's gone so far?
It needs to go home and have work done in the studio.
Yeah.
Normally I like to finish it on the spot. Partly laziness. I could say something elevating like I have to be in the, with this subject, but the truth is that it was raining and it's just going to have to go home and be finished.
Yeah.
Well, everybody has an
And you
excuse.
said something interesting, that water on the page.
Well, it sort of counterintuitive because you think oil and water don't mix, so it shouldn't be a problem. But first of all, the canvas is backed on cardboard. So you get water on that, it's going to separate on the thing. And the second thing is that if there's any water on here, as soon as you try to put oil on, it won't.
In here.
Yeah. So you can't mix color, and it's the same problem in here. I get water in here, and that might be me. Just a moment. The time is up. That's my wife.
Hi, Daphne.
Say hi.
Hi, Daphne.
Hello, Daphne.
We're in a crowd here.
We're enjoying Kevin.
You're being filmed.
This is really natural. This is plant air.
This is definitely plant air.
Absolutely plant air.
Are you coming down? Okay.
So here we are with Len, and how's it going?
It's going fine.
Yeah. So
It's stopped and
wow.
yeah.
So you're actually doing watercolor,
Yeah.
which is great.
Just finishing up the last few touches on this right now.
Yeah.
Watercolor is my preferred medium.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I like the looseness of it, how it goes down, and it's quick and speedy and light to work with. So, yes.
So there's your palette,
Okay.
which is pretty. Actually,
It's
that's
pretty
a really.
mucky.
It is mucky, but it's well used and well loved.
That's right.
There's the piece, which is amazing.
Right. Uh-huh.
I know you've. Like, that's pretty good. There were so many people around you. I came to try to talk to you a number of times in the past couple of hours, and there was always a crowd around.
Was that right?
Yeah. So how did you find it? Like being out in the air, being out in the outside, painting.
I'm primarily a flat out painter, so that didn't bother me. And just being under the overhang here, I was out of the rain, even right this rain quite heavily. So, yeah, no problem.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy painting on location.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer to do if I can.
Yeah.
Although sometimes it's more practical to be in the studio.
And how long have you actually been painting, Len?
Probably about 35, 40 years now. Yeah. Around about 85, I started to paint.
Yeah.
I used to mod photography prior to that.
Yeah.
And I guess that led me into painting. And so for a while, I didn't really paint very much during the course of the year. And as time went on, I painted more and more. And since I retired, I've painted even more.
Which is amazing. You know what? I've been so amazed going and seeing all the artists,
Right.
And just seeing how well what great painters they are. But just
Right.
everybody's different,
That's right.
and the style is all different, and the choice of subject matter has been all different.
That's right. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what other people have done.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't my preferred location. So you go with what you're given, right?
Yeah, and you take what you can.
That's right. I'm thankful for it. So.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So we'll see you at the show in September, and then I'll get a picture of the finished piece.
Right. Okay.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you, Len. Really appreciate it. So, Andrew, I'm coming back to see how you're doing. Oh, that's amazing. Look at that. It's almost the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you happy with how it's going so far?
Yes, I am. There's some details to be put in, which I'll probably do now.
Yeah.
I'll put them on now. There's some branches that are missing. Like, no trees are very upset with you, and to make sure I put those in.
Yeah.
Time goes out.
It is amazing how it all comes together at the end, doesn't it?
That's it.
And I do actually love the piece behind you. We went and we talked to Kevin Weiss, and he was telling us the story as well, how you got rained on. But yeah.
That was something, actually. It really was.
So sometimes the purpose of plein air is to go out, and it's like study notes for a studio piece,
Yeah.
which is kind of what the piece behind you is. But this one will be more of a finished piece, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to come over your shoulder if that's okay,
Yep.
as you're doing that. Now, I also have real trouble sometimes having people watch me paint.
You mentioned that earlier.
How do you feel when people are coming up? I mean, if
No trouble whatsoever.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I found when people came up to talk, I would step out, I would pull away from the painting and chat with them. So I'm still almost just in the blocking in phase, whereas I watched you just keep going as people were chatting with you, which was great.
No problem whatsoever with it.
Yeah.
If anything, when I stop to talk to them, it suddenly squeezed me down a bit.
Yeah.
He's had to come down to me.
And so these pieces are actually going into a show in September.
Yes.
Yes, so we'll get a photo of the finished piece, and which is amazing. So thank you, Andrew. And over here, I don't know if Oh, there's Lynn. Lynn moved.
I'm moving back.
Oh, you're moving back
I am.
because the sun is coming back out.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Was that a piece you just did right now?
I did it early this morning before it rained. And this
Wow.
but I'm going back to finish
The first piece.
this sign.
Okay, awesome. So I'm actually here with Vladimir. He's a fellow artist from Ukraine, so he's come in. Yeah, it's amazing. So we're gonna look at what he's been doing and actually look at the view he's been. But look how amazing it is, just in terms of. And he's only been here for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. It's
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's amazing. He's working in oil. He's set up, and obviously incredibly talented. And it's amazing to get to meet him and get to know him a little bit. So, yeah.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
We were mentioning about tall view exhibit that your daughter started, some 20 or more.
Yeah, I like it in Ukraine. He has been working as a painter professionally for more than 30 years, I guess, and he has been. He had more than 30 exhibitions in total, and more like 15 of them were his personal exhibitions in Westland galleries, like university and halls, museums. Some of his artworks are in the permanent expositions in the museums as well. And he used to have like a tiny gallery in Ukraine, like family run.
So he owned his own gallery as well.
Yes.
That's why. Okay.
Wow. And it's still there. Like so, he will probably return there at some point.
Yeah. And how long has he been in Canada? And then did you come with him? So is it the two of you and your family, or did you come first?
Oh, I've been here forever, so it's like more than 8 years. I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So with the war, your dad and your mom came over. Yeah. So Vladimir's been here for how long?
For around 6 months.
Wow.
So,
okay.
But so far, he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Very much, and so you can see him like in the streets often because plein air is something that he does for that's his passion, that's his specialty. So if he likes to catch the moment, and he believes that it only can be done when you lean from the actual subjects.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Okay. Thank you so much, by the way. What's your name?
Dimitri.
Dimitri. Okay, and the same last name. Thank you. Okay, so it's actually after the plein air event. I wasn't able to get around to everybody, so we're going to visit Sarah Cowling, who's actually just set up today. So as you can tell, it's now beautiful outside. The actual day of the event, of course, we were dealing with rain. It's much nicer, Sarah, being, isn't it?
It's absolutely much nicer. Absolutely.
You know, and one of the things that I find kind of interesting, one of the reasons I wanted to make sure that I came and talked to Sarah was Sarah's still setting up right now. So and thinking is that you're doing collage.
I'm doing collage.
You're doing collage.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is so unique in terms of being outdoors and putting pieces of paper together. So, you know, I'll let you get set up a little bit more, but I'd love to talk with you about some of the kind of challenges that you face. Does that sound okay?
Sure, sounds great.
Yeah. Before we do that, where are we?
We are at Springbank Park, down near the dam in the lower level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of your favorite spots to come to,
I like this spot. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's got lots of weedy bits, which I mentioned was something I really like.
So I'm taking photos, taking pictures of the water and the Thames because it's very calming and very beautiful. But you set up here because
I like this messy bit.
You like this messy bit right here?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
The messier, the better.
So the weeds and the messiness and a bit of the chaos.
Yeah. And I like the sound of the river too. That's very calming to listen to. Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you a few minutes and then I'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're actually back. It's been a couple hours, but we're coming to see Sarah. I know she's not quite finished, but see how it's gone.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if I like it yet or not. We'll have to see.
Yeah, but as you say, it's not about liking it; it's about the process of being outside, isn't it? Yeah,
maybe
so.
satisfied. It's a better word.
Yeah. Wow. Can I come and visit you again sometime?
Yes, indeed.
Sure, that'd be great.
That.
It'd be amazing to talk about some of the things we talked about in terms of collage. But this is, I look at that, and I know it's not quite finished, but it definitely is a great impression of what's over there, and it does. Yeah.
It gives you the feel for the park a bit. And,
yeah. And as you so welcome back. We're actually back at the gallery. So we visited all the artists. We went around. There's a couple artists I missed, so I went to go visit them while they were actually doing plein air painting.
Fantastic.
Which is great. And now we're actually at the show. Danielle. Wow, this is great. Can you just tell me a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So thanks for coming to see this exhibition now that it's all put together and installed. We had a lot of fun hanging the show and seeing the finished works from that wonderful day in June. The pieces are beautiful. They turned out wonderfully. Al Stewart, one of the two owners of the gallery, he did the installation for this exhibition, and he's able to tell a bit of the story of Wortley Village through the pieces. So they kind of walk you down one road.
Let's walk through them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
which is kind of awesome. So. Sounds great. Yeah, so they carry us kind of down one side of the street and then back up the other side. These two pieces are some of my favorite in the collection because they present so well together. So this is Kevin Bice's rendition of Jeanette painting on that day in June. So this was his view in front of the YMCA normal school grounds of Jeanette with her umbrella out, which we did need that day. And then this represents Jeanette's view looking back towards the normal school and the front stairs. So they're just a really interesting set together. And I love how they speak to kind of collaboration between the artists, which is what this show is a lot about. This is wonderful. Vladimir, yes. He's a new artist to us, an immigrant to the country, arriving recently. He has an established career in the Ukraine as a painter, and now he's using his skills to capture London. And he's an avid plein air painter, so this was the perfect fit for him.
No, that's amazing. So we actually did talk to Vladimir. His son came, which was amazing. So we were able to kind of
communicate that way.
Back and forth. It was great. You could tell he really knew what he was doing.
Absolutely, he is an expert in his field. 100%.
Sandy McCabe, we visited Sandy that day as well.
So she painted Saggy Restaurant, which is next to the Value Mart there. They're a great example of the outdoor patio spaces that we come to love through the pandemic, and it's stayed with their picnic tables out front and just a great community spot.
Perfect. Andrew
Sukra, he visited us all the way from Toronto. Another avid plein air painter. He always likes the opportunity to get out and create. And this unique color palette is really typical of Andrew's work.
So we're kind of going through the village, is what you're kind of taking us through.
Exactly. We're walking down. We've passed Old South Pub there. Of course, the block is kind of grounded by Sweet Onion Bistro and their distinct white and red building that Amelia's captured. I also love that Amelia's included the water on the road that day because the rain was a part of the experience for us.
What's interesting about this is this would have been an iconic scene. 6 months ago. But this is actually where Black Walnut was.
Yes, this is the site of where Black Walnut has burnt down. And Jerry Campbell, the painter, he's from Paris, Ontario. And when we were deciding what location each artist was going to be painting in, because some favor an architectural scene, some favor a landscape scene, Jerry requested this corner. And I said, I just want to let you know, since you're an out of town artist that this has happened. And he said he was aware of that, aware of the importance of black walnut to the Westland, or to the Wortley Village community, and to Westland.
And to Westland, of
They've
course.
kept us caffeinated through many years. And so he wanted to capture that site and what had happened before the eventual rebuilding of a new cafe.
Wow. Okay, so Len Hughes was doing watercolor that day. Yeah. Interesting. A bit of an overhang, actually, which is great.
He was in an overhang, and I mean, that's one of the challenges of plein air painting that especially impacts watercolor artists, because if we've got rain on the forecast, they have to be extra cautious. So Len was camped out kind of under the overhang of the condo buildings at Wortley and Bruce, and painted this scene here. This one, I suppose, early in the morning when it was rainier. So we've got the pet store there, Shashwa, and the Westland building just beyond. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Lovely pieces. These three in the back are by Christopher Cape, who's from Guelph, Ontario. These two scenes here, one of the Wortley Road strip, and this one of the gardens in the beautiful house across the street.
So what's unique about this is when you tend to think of plein air, you tend to think of realism in terms of what's there. But this is amazing, because it's not, I mean, he's taken what he's seen and been incredibly creative with it.
Absolutely. So, and I love to see the artists branching out in terms of what plein air means for their practice and how they can incorporate their own style into the process. There's another.
Sarah was one of the artists that I missed that day, so I went to visit her. Springbank Park. She was collaging away. It was really interesting. In terms of the process.
Absolutely. It's another great example of bringing a unique medium to the idea of plein air painting, right? So Sarah is a collage artist using found materials and her own created papers and materials. And so she was at YMCA normal school. It does make you want to touch it. The texture is lovely. So she was facing south, looking out across the grounds and into the neighborhoods beyond. So we've got this little strip of beautiful old South houses in the background.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, let's go back, actually. Come on with me. We've missed a few because we're going around, aren't we?
Yeah, I just thought it was a nice segue of materials.
I think that's a great segue, actually. But so these are Lynn's.
Yeah.
She was painting, Old South Pub. I was about to call it Copperfields. Which dates me, of course, but Old South Pub, and she was painting the sign, the iconic sign. It was great. But so this is...
and a couple bonus pieces. Some of the artists contributed a couple of extras because we had a little extra space on the walls. They are all still local scenes, plein air paintings. So that was our uniting theme. But yes, Lynn was stationed to capture Wortley, icon.
Old Blackfriars Bridge. And
this is
Bayfield. Bayfield Harbour.
Bayfield Harbour.
Which is local. Which is another great segue into...
So the top piece here we have by Sue Garrington, another watercolorist taking on the challenge of plein air painting. And she captured one of the kind of iconic cottage style homes that you see a lot in this neighborhood. And of course, incorporating her beautiful, colorful flowers, which are just such a feature in Sue's work.
So that's the iconic Ontario cottage home is one of the main reasons why this area is like a heritage district.
Absolutely.
In terms of that. So that's very much many of the houses are built like that. So that's wonderful seeing. Denise has done something similar, hasn't she?
Another neighborhood home with some beautiful gardens. Can't really have an exhibition about plein air without Denise because this is a huge part of her practice. Denise has actually competed on a television show, Landscape Artist of the Year Canada.
Actually, Andrew was part of it too, wasn't he?
Andrew Sucre was as well. They were finalists together.
Which is amazing.
So a competition in plein air painting.
But that's stunning.
This is incredible. So this is how that Denise has painted in her studio, but she will go out and do studies of the landscape to understand the light, to understand the colors that she's going to use in her larger scale painting.
Yeah, it looks just like a photo.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. And then these are some of her studies, are they not?
Yeah, these are some more plein air works that Denise has done. She does work in the London area. She also works in the Port Stanley area often, so there's a lot of those scenes.
Yeah. Which is great. And then finally back to, this is the piece that Vladimir was actually doing that day.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So Vladimir was stationed kind of outside the library here in the village, and looking across, we can see the normal school just peeking out there in the background, the lovely trees lining the street, and we've got kind of curiosities and a little bit of quartermasters, that kind of part of the neighborhood.
So we've talked about plein air from an artist point of view, but what about it from a gallery point of view? What is it that a gallery really loves about this in terms of, you know, the plein air?
There's a couple things I love about it. One, that it's part of such a long history in art history, right? Bringing us back to the Impressionists, an important part of artistic practice that we want our audience to understand, right? I love having the event because it's an opportunity for the community to actually meet the artists in person. But then also, just from our perspective, it creates some really beautiful pieces that are all about light and weather and atmosphere. So when we do an exhibition with plein air work, it brings together a lot of beautiful pieces.
And what I love about it is it might not, the pieces aren't necessarily perfect, but they're not meant to be perfect. They're meant to be impressions in the moment.
Absolutely.
And they actually carry that kind of emotion, which I think is amazing. So the show is on right now. It goes to...
continues till October 7th. It's also online on our website, so people can find it there, but hopefully find some time to come in and enjoy the show. It runs all throughout the back half of the gallery here, and then of course in the front, Jane, I've got to mention it. Jane was one of our wonderful plein air painters that day as well, and we have a lot of larger scale studio works by Jane and some collaborative works by Jane and her mentor Jamie Jardine as well in the front half of the gallery. So that continues until October 7th as well.
Jane's a little embarrassed.
I am a little embarrassed, but yes, all of these pieces were informed by plein air sketches or from travels or trips to plein air sketches, some plein air paintings. And I call them studies, and then they became larger studio pieces.
Absolutely. So there are some great running themes between the back half of the gallery with the plein air collection and then the front half of the gallery with your work, Jane, and this collaborative series. Of course, plein air informs your work strongly, and you were with us that day in June with...
I tried to paint.
Yes, everyone working outside, which was a great time. And you can see that influence in your work. But I also love this collaborative series between yourself and Jamie Jardine because it also speaks to the relationships between artists and the opportunities for kind of exploration and learning. I think plein air is an opportunity for that. And I think collaborative works like this are also an opportunity for that. So we're happy to have that series involved.
I mean, it was exciting. It's exciting to some degree when you have a show, people come in back together, and artists get to meet each other, because oftentimes, particularly when they're plein air artists, they also go, hey, let's go paint together. Or let's go have tea, let's go studio. What do you do with this? And you see them start to talk. So this collaboration, of course, is, because Jamie's my mentor, but I've developed enough that I feel confident enough that when we have these kind of works, I feel equal to him. And so I think I had so much fun doing these pieces. It was great.
You can feel the enthusiasm of both of you and the genuine collaboration in them. So that's great. Thanks for coming to visit me in the gallery and talk about the current show.
Yeah, for sure. So if you've got time, visit Westland Gallery. It is in Wortley Village between now and Saturday, October 7th. Come and see the show. If you can't see it, by all means, go online. Some amazing local artists. Thank you very much.